Welcome to the Isle of Man Manx Grand Prix, and boy, we can't wait to share the content that's going to be coming your way in and around the event.
Two wheels and a three.
Thank you. Thank you. Of course, there's going to be plenty of racing coming your way. But we're going to cover as much as the people in and around that racing.
Maybe what about the Manx Grand Prix? Oh, crikey to us. What's up there in the stratosphere, you know?
Sounds and the smells, hey?
Oh, it's like nothing else. Get the Castrol going again.
And you need a stepping stone. And the Manx is a good stepping stone.
They've got legends flying over from all over the place that were made at this great event. And of course, we've got entertainment. There's all sorts going on around the island. So we're going to share as much of that as we possibly can with you.
Fantastic to be back here, and obviously got the opportunity to ride the Ashport Racing RT45, which is a proper iconic machine.
And they couldn't have picked a better lad to get on it. Two-wheeling classics, relive the passion. Welcome back to the Two-Wheeling Classic Studio, and we are joined with Team New Zealand. We have Mr. Phil Price, Bill Swallow and Rhys Hardisty here, and boy have they got some stories to share, and obviously of course the stories are behind why they are, three of them are sat here and 50 of their teammates. We got the crew sat here and joined us, thankfully, in the audience as well. So, gents, thank you for coming in. Bit of a washout this week at the Manx Grand Prix 2024, but you know, it's an advantage to us. We get to pull you in the studio and hear more of your story. So, Phil, welcome to the Manx Grand Prix.
Thank you.
So let's go back how you became part of the Manx Grand Prix and why you decided to be here this year.
Well, we never thought, I've been involved in classic racing in New Zealand for most of my life, I suppose, and we never thought that we'd come here. And it was really when Bill's son, Chris, came and did a year's touring around with his girlfriend, Jen, and we got an introduction. Then he rode a couple of our bikes, a Mark 8 KGT and Nick's Venom, very well, extremely well, and it started from there, and that was a connection to the UK. And of course, along that time, we met Bill because he came out to see his boy over a few summers, and yeah, they were going back to the what was the classic TT then, with a few others, Dave Kenner's Manx Norton, which Chris did very well on, and yeah, so that was our beginning, and we came over, I think, maybe in 2014 or 15 for a look, and again in 18 and 19 to compete. And then, of course, Pete Lodge has been over here doing well, really amazingly well on his ES2. And then I think last year there was a bit of motivation to, keep the thing alive, do something a little bit interesting and different. And so the invitation was there to do something. And we just thought, well, once we'd sort of started along the road of coming here, and of course anyone that's interested in the history of road racing, has to be interested in the Ireland circuit. And of course our kind of chosen brand of bike that was, always been kind of keen on these Velocettes. They cut their teeth here, of course, in the 20s and 30s. And so it's the pinnacle, really. So we sort of felt there's a bit of, unfinished business, or just keep going. And so, yeah, grasped that opportunity with two hands, and here we are.
And having, as you called him, the godfather of the team, Bill Swallow, linked, and you did your first Max Grand Prix, Bill, at 1971, is that correct?
74.
74, okay, thanks. I stand corrected there.
On a Velocette, the passionate Velocette.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd raced Velocettes all my life, really. And my son Chris started riding on my Velocette. I'd laid it up, it was obsolete, really. I was riding for other people, but it was still in the shed, and Chris wanted to race, so we got the Velocette out together, and he actually won his very first race on it. Never ridden a bike on the road before. He'd only ridden travel bikes, so we thought, well, this lad's got some talent. So.
And so your impact in maybe sharing the knowledge of the course, of the mountain course, and what it's like to be a part of course, if you're into road racing.
Certainly for Chris. I mean, Chris has spent a lot of time with me going down the course, and you've got to do it properly. You've got to go, got to walk around it, you've got to look at corners, you've got to know where the apexes are. Sometimes it helps to sort of walk backwards and look at the corner, and things like that. And I'm not sure a lot of the modern riders do it that seriously. They go out and treat it like a short circuit race and get into trouble. But Chris was very serious about it. Did it properly.
Well, you had such a great history in your family, haven't you? Not only with that brand of bike, but of course.
Well, my father raced.
Yeah.
He started racing. He was the youngest rider in the 1946 Manx after the war. He'd been in the RAF. And he lied to get in the RAF, so he was younger than he should have been. And he was 21 in 46, and he was the youngest rider in the Manx, and he raced until 56. Yeah. And so we went the chance, really.
Yeah. Wow, the experience and the stories that you share as a family, and the knowledge that you can share, not only then with your son, but with being linked with Phil now and whoever else wants to into that.
It did, I sort of got involved with the team when I came over, really, and Nick builds the bikes, and I'm quite happy to go and potter around in the workshop, do what I can to help Nick, which is not a lot because he's a far better engineer than I am, but he tolerates me.
Then you're based in New Zealand now?
No, I'm still based
in Yorkshire.
Still in Yorkshire.
Okay, great.
I've just come back from New Zealand. I've been over helping them prepare, and also help Chris's widow with the grandkids as well. So yeah. And
then you have Rhys here. So this is your rider this year, and you guys have only just met yourself on this coach now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. I've with dad racing and coming over and watching, and dad racing at Manx and so on and so forth, and being from Harrogate originally, so Yorkshireman, it's where the people you look out for. When you're watching the racing and you're keeping an eye on what is built. You know what I mean? So it's good. It's nice to actually, sit down and meet properly, especially after, like I say, all through my racing and all through my childhood, really, he's somebody that you would look up to, or you would look towards, and, and just try and, cheer on, really, because that's what it was about when you're a kid, and you run down, you got your favourite riders, and you'd be Bill and pass away, so, distinctive helmet, and, it's a privilege to be sat here with him, really, and, and be involved in this whole outfit, really.
Well, tell us how that's happened then.
Well, I'm not entirely sure.
Could probably like it.
Yeah, like I sort of, I wasn't, I was just going about my usual thing, and I'd like to say sort of my bike here, but I sort of finished work, and then because I work in a bike shop, so you're doing tools for the day, and then you dig your bike out and make a start on it, and one should be fixing the bike really, but you're faffing. Do you know what I mean? You're doing anything but fix the bike, scratching your ass, whatever you're doing, and not doing what you should be doing. My brain is like that, and then you might have an hour and a half and you just crack on. And anyway, I was in work, and I had working on a bike, and I think it was David Linstall messaged me and said, I might have an idea of, say, you go to the Manx, yeah, what you taking? So I told him, the RG's going in the TZ, usual outfit. But I'm not sure on the RG yet, because my boss, it's my boss's bike, and his partner's not very well, etc. So he might not be coming. So, and he said, I might have another option for you, but do you mind, would you be interested? I think it could be a good thing, and you might fit the build. And I said, yeah, what have you got in mind? He said, I'll get back to you. I'll find out a bit more about it and put it forward a little bit. And obviously I said, yeah, okay, no problem. He said, I've passed your number on. Is that all right? Yeah, fine. And then I think it was like the next morning I was driving to work and the phone was ringing. I was like, who's this? New Zealand? And so I got to work and I run it back. And obviously, and that's where it started. And I spoke to Phil, and he sort of laid out what, we were hoping to achieve, and a plan. And I know somebody, there was a couple of options. I think that's fair to say, and obviously somebody who had, more experience with the machines, and the machines that were asking things off. So I said, yeah, no problem. Whatever you want to do, you just let me know and keep me posted. And either way, it's not a problem. It's just nice to be thought of, really.
And how long ago was that?
And how long ago was that?
2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah. So, and it sort of just stayed in touch with that. And then it changed a little bit, because I think you had somebody in mind as well.
Yeah, we got the original rider was a New Zealand lad from Wellington called Jay Lawrence, and he broke his ankle, but smashed his leg up a bit. So Phil rang me up and said, can you get us a rider?
Yeah.
So I was over at the TT, and put a flyer out, and Ian Armstrong from Sowerby Bridge got in touch with me and had a chat with him. Interviewed him in the Halewood Centre, put him on to Phil, and so he was going to ride. He then subsequently fell off his trail bike, broke his shoulder.
Yeah.
So we still, once again, didn't have a rider.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, and that's where it was, at that point, it was the other bike, you said that, do you want to do the yes? And I said, yeah, great, whatever. Happy to do whatever, And then, and then it was the gear change. We can put that one on either side. Which one do you prefer? So I'm not bothered. As long as you point out where they are, I will let the handbrake on and off. That's fine. And then like I say, Ian had doing it himself, and Phil had said, he said then off and can't ride the bikes. And I said, well, the Velocette's the bikes you want to take, as I understand it. And he said, yeah. I said, well, we'll just go back to the original plan. I'll ride them. So, but they can't. But the gear changes all right, and I'm not worried. so that's a bit of a, But luckily, like I say, my first race bike was a Ducati, which is on the other side, upside down, and I'm not bothered. If it's just get on it, it's got wheels. I'm happy. I'm not worried. And so, yeah, I think that was, that was it. Then it was almost easier really, because I didn't have to think of it. Oh, which side would be better? Because it's on that side, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So. It was good.
I don't know if you find it, but when I used to do the TT, I'd be riding a Japanese bike, and you'd come for practice and go out on a British bike.
Yeah.
And you just had to sit on it and think a bit. By the time you got to the top of Braille, you were all right.
You're all right. That's it. It's spot on, yeah. So, and that's what happened. And then, like I said, we didn't really meet until, we landed, and I wandered up with the dog, and then we went over to JB and had a spin around on the bikes.
Phil said, which one's riding?
Me on the dog. The dog would probably do a better job of it. So, yeah, that's it. And
So the first day you met and you jumped on the bike was the first test day.
that's it. Yeah,
Last
It
week.
was
Yeah.
the day before, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rhys was good because we were told, look, your bikes are too unknown and they're too unusual. You're not going to get a TT rider. So that's all right. I mean, we do both of these machines have got girder forks, which wouldn't have been around here in any serious way for long
It's the
time.
1950s.
Yeah, some
Early-
decades.
late 40s.
And we're just keen, we're just keen to, in a way, come in from a historical perspective rather than, throw our handmade engine into yet another Sealy frame with a pair of Mexican forks and that. We're kind of interested in the point of difference and the history. And I think, in a way, to keep the classic racing alive, you kind of have to have a bit more focus on that. Like the riders are wonderful, but anyone that's a student of motorcycle road racing history wants to know about the bikes, so we're keen on that, so. And it's cool. So Rhys was like, yeah, it's no problem. It's no problem. Girder forks, no problem. Right-hand gear change, no problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good luck.
Is it Yorkshire?
yeah. Well, yeah. It's like I said, I'm interested in this. I don't know what the right word is, or the right description really, but like
Being an engineer,
Yes.
that's
and like my granddad was, and my dad was, and all my growing up was, me and my granddad, look, they had a boat, so we spent a lot of time on that. So that's what we'd be doing if you went racing motorbikes. We sat on a boat somewhere because like a narrow boat, and that'd be me and the dog, job done. And my missus ain't so keen like to live on a boat, but if it was up to me, that's what we'd be doing.
yeah.
And as long as I get a bike on it and a little workshop, got the little engine room, that'd be me sorted. So yeah, like historic stuff as well. That's just been something that's always been done growing up, and so it's nice to see something different as well. Do you see what I mean?
Definitely.
It's nice to be involved in something different, and like Phil said as well, there's nothing else out there like it, and it's nice to do something a bit different, So instead of it just being, like you say, don't get me wrong, there's some lovely bikes out there, but there's a lot of K4 Hondas and things like that, and and ultimately it's good to do something different. If everybody was the same, if it was all the same, there'd be nothing to look at with it. So I think it's nice, and you can set your own goal. You can set the goals like that the guys have set out, and we can work towards that and see what how close we can get to it, or if we can achieve it. And I think it's good to do something different. It's interesting, So, and especially bringing the bikes, the length of distance that the guys have, is a big commitment. And I think, really, it's the least you can do. Sat on top of it is to try and be committed to the cause and the whole thing that they're trying to achieve. So, and really, like I say, being asked to be part of something like that is quite humbling, really. So, yeah, it's exciting. So I'm as excited to get going, and like the frustration for the guys being sat in the awning in the max weather again, it's felt, it's as much as a frustration from my part, because like I say, you just want to string a lap together and then go, right, now we've got a base. What can we do from there?
We've seen photographs of the Isle of Man in good weather.
We have had it.
Yeah.
And Phil, so it was about 3 months this started for Rhys. How about yourself planning for this?
It started not long after Pete Lodge got back from last year's Manx, really, because I don't know what it's like. I mean, I'm sure this is the same for pretty much everybody, but, when we're thinking about coming from the other side of the world, and you kind of can't come from very much further, we like to have a look under every stone kind of philosophy in preparation. So we've been preparing. I mean, these, especially our Velocettes, the thing that we're the most passionate about, if you like. They are probably the most handmade motorcycles here. So they've been years in the making, and they are pretty, they're bespoke in every way. There are no kind of aftermarket component purchases. It's all made. So that's pretty special. So, you know, we've been preparing for this year's Manx for a year, but, you know, on our way here for probably a decade. You know, I think we first came here with a special little double overhead cam 250 Velocette in about 2015. Bill rode it. I think he got
2 Maxes.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a class that's sort of forgotten now completely. And then Nick and I thought, well, what will we do? Will we make a big LD, which was essentially a road bike that had been a pushrod road bike turned into a double overhead cam. So we settled on this kind of replica of a works bike, and the factory had made twin cam engines in the 30s, 36, I think. And so we built that bike, and I think that took a couple of years to build, and we came back here with it first time in 2018, 17, 18, I think. 18. And then of course 19 we lost Chris. We never thought we'd come back. And by then we'd already, you know, been thinking about a 500. We'd started on this 500, and we'd just been racing it for the last year in New Zealand, just on short circuit racing. Bill's been over and ridden it, and it's a good thing. And so to bring it here is kind of rounding out a sort of a latent dream. So it's a wonderful opportunity and a great experience that we're going for.
It's wonderful to have you as part of the lineup.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So Phil, we've got to touch on your art. It is just incredible. And so it's described as kinetic sculpture. Is that correct?
Well, yeah.
And
yeah.
So this is another art form in itself, isn't it? It's transferring the passion. And
I think in a way, you know, the motorcycle is the ultimate kinetic artwork, you know, because I mean, a successful artwork is something that, I don't know, you know, is a little bit more than just a picture on the wall or a concept. But with a motorcycle, you're in it, you're on it, you know, and if you want to find out a little bit more about the thing, you can find out about it technically, who's helped, who's riding, how it was developed, and you know, I suppose. Yeah, well, anyway, so I mean, and really, kinetic is just effectively mechanical or moving, you know. So, and I'm not from a motorcycling family, but somehow I got the bug as a really young fella, and I never thought I would make kinetic sculptures, but I was always into motorbikes, and somewhere along the line, and well into my 30s, the sort of penny dropped, and I've been, you know, in a way, I've applied quite a lot of the philosophies of motorcycling to that, you know, and I haven't I've you know, tried to keep it pretty real, and it's been successful enough to do all of this, you know. So yeah, it's a good thing.
And Bill, you have been your own artist yourself, being part of the bikes and building, optimizing, and then you have Rhys here who's getting on the bike and optimizing it as well. And once you guys have put it together and bounced off each other and getting the best out of it.
It's a bit like performance, though. I mean, the bikes. There's a lot of components and design in the bike, which comes straight from Phil's artwork. I mean, the tanks are works of art.
Yeah.
Fairings, they're carbon fibre, would you believe? But they look like, you know, hand-beaten aluminium. Beautiful things, really.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
definitely.
And Rhys, so hopefully we're going to go off now and get some laps over the weekend.
Well, hopefully that's the idea. Yeah.
Got this beautiful piece of
Definitely.
machinery that you have got your.
Yeah, well, it is that. This is good description, really, because when you look at it, it is an absolute piece of art, and like you say, there's nothing else. That's the nice thing about it. That's what I mean. Like, yeah, it's nice to be involved in it. It is a privilege, really, because you walk around the rest of the paddock, and I can guarantee you won't see anything like that there. You know, and you have to, for me, you have to really look at it to see the amount of work that's going in it. and you know, and really appreciate it. And the more you look, the more you see. And like I say, it's you know, there is you know, it's not a knock on any of the other machines, obviously, and other people's efforts, but this is unique. Do you know what I mean? And it really is when you see it all together. And really, I seen a picture. Somebody sent me a picture of the lap the other night, and it was when you see the rider on the bike, then it's complete. Do you see what I mean? The bike is built, and it's that way for a certain reason. And when you put the rider on it, you see it all together. Then you see it.
And it's the nice thing about it.
It is.
Good way to put it, that really.
And it is.
Yeah,
So unique, like, you know, it is something beautiful, really.
So if the rider fits if the rider fits the bike, and he's coming along, it's worth 5 brake horsepower, you know.
Yeah, well, we'll get the axle right, and we'll have to take a few inches. But no, it's special, like, you know, and it's like I said, I'm excited about it, and I think really the only thing that's the damper on it, like I say at the minute, is it looks great and it's all ready to go. We can't go anywhere. So, and it's a shame because, like, you know, everybody's worked so hard. You know, even just getting the bikes here and the organisation of it all, and like you're touching on all the work previous as well, the lead up to it, and it's just such a shame, like, you know. So
We will get there. We will, you know.
yeah, we just need Manara bugger off, mate.
Yeah. This weekend is going to bring good weather, and we're going to get plenty of laps.
Yeah.
Definitely. Bill, would you like to give a shout out to the T-shirt? We're going to do that.
Oh yeah, well this is Fecker Spirits. It's a Maori friend of ours who was a young lad about the same age as, well, I think you came across in your tail. Interesting bloke. His dad was from the East End of London, and was sent out during the war. Was adopted by a Maori family, so Inya is sort of half East End Jewish white boy and half Maori white boy, and so when I was over this last time, I went to stop with him for this amazing bloke, completely unique, and stopped with him and had a bottle of his whiskey and homemade whiskey.
Had a good time.
Great. Listen, guys, thanks so much. Appreciate you being a part of this lineup and bringing your just stunning setup to the Max Grand Prix 2024. Can't wait to see you boys get out there and actually get as much as you can out of the whole experience, as well as, of course, the bike. Phil, thank you. Bill, thank you so much. And Rhys, appreciate your time. And everyone else, hello. Thank you for joining us. Wow, we could talk. I could hear more and more from each one of these boys, and hopefully we'll have them back again at some point in the studio, and they'll be back again at the Max Grand Prix. But thanks, guys, and stay tuned. We've got plenty more of these where they came from with this weather that it is. We've got more joining us in the studio, but for now, Two Wheeling Classics. Relive the passion. Welcome to the Isle of Man Manx Grand Prix, and boy, we can't wait to share the content that's going to be coming your way in and around the event.
Two wheels and a 3.
Thank you. Thank you. Of course, there's going to be plenty of racing coming your way. But we're going to cover as much as the people in and around that racing.
Maybe what about the Manx Grand Prix? Oh, crikey to us. What's up there in the stratosphere, you know?
Sounds and the smells, hey?
Oh, it's like nothing else. Get the Castrol going again, and
And you need a stepping stone. And the Manx is a good stepping stone.
We've got legends flying over from all over the place that were made at this great event. And of course, we've got entertainment. There's all sorts going on around the island. So we're going to share as much of that as we possibly can with you.
Fantastic to be back here, and obviously got the opportunity to ride the Ashcourt Racing RT45, which is a proper iconic machine.
And we couldn't have picked a better lad to get on it. Two Wheeling Classics. Relive the passion.